Let's talk about the Canadian real estate market. Yes, I've been getting tons of questions from our coaches, from our coaching members, whenever I speak. What's happening in the Canadian real estate market? I think everybody that owns a house is talking about it right now, and everybody that wants to own a house is talking about it right now. Well, let's talk about Eastern Canada first of all. Eastern Canada, in my opinion, has been challenged for a while, will continue to be challenged for a while. They have many months of inventory, sometimes 8, 10, 12, 14 months of inventory, which is a lot of inventory. A balanced market is around 5 months of inventory. I don't see anything changing there right away. What about Toronto? We could look at Ontario, but obviously Toronto is sort of the center that's driving the prices all the way outside to the rest of Ontario. Well, let's face it, Toronto is crazy. We're talking roughly 1 month of inventory. We've got multiple offers on everything, even luxury properties. Toronto, I think, should start to slow down over the next little while. Now, is it a bubble? I'm not convinced it's a bubble because all of the markets in Canada have been very resilient. If you look at all the changes that have taken place, oil prices, lending practices have changed, right? We've got the foreign buyer tax in Vancouver. Even with all that going on, the markets have still remained fairly strong. So I do see Toronto slowing down, and quite frankly, I think it needs to. It needs to for the health of our industry and for the health of housing. We've got to have people constantly coming into that market and being able to afford the houses that they're buying. Now, what if we go to sort of Western Canada, not including BC? We get to Western Canada, oil prices had a huge impact. But if we look at a lot of the cities like Calgary, Edmonton, even if we go to Saskatoon, we go to Regina, those markets have remained pretty decent. Now, I think right now, Calgary and Edmonton, they're even rebounding right now. You're getting multiple offers in houses that are priced at, say, $400,000, $500,000. Luxury market's still a little bit slower, but you want to know something? We've got right now around 5 months, 6 months of inventory. That market is doing just fine. When I say resilient, Alberta is what I would call resilient. Let's go to BC. Home buyer tax, or I should say the foreign buyer tax came in last summer. 15%. Well, did it have an effect? Yeah. Are sales down? Absolutely, sales are down. A fairly high percentage, just over 30% over the last 3 or 4 months every month. However, what's really interesting is if you look at the lower priced properties, they're still getting multiple offers. The luxury market has gotten killed. The condo market has been affected. But if you look at, say, detached or even attached townhouses that are, say, priced around the $1 million mark or just above or just below that, you want to know something? The market's doing fine. So when I look at it, I say, if anything, the Canadian market has been extremely resilient and will continue to be extremely resilient. But always remember this. Don't worry as much about what's going on in the market. Worry about what you're doing in the market, because the market does not have to determine your income.